a good teacher.
Or at least the one this afternoon was doing good.
That's good.
Mother.
She's taken
To San
LT73. It's a
And
national flood
she's
insurance
got two
program course.
children, you know, my
It's a
daughter-in-law, her
4-day
brother.
course.
And she's got them all right there.
We got one coming up.
And, you know, she's had these surgeries and things and had all them people over, and here I am.
Well, it's ethics.
It's hard
Hey,
to
you
raise
know,
them
I
by
may sign
yourself
up for
too.
that.
I've
Do it
done that
just
I
too.
hope everybody on the planning commission.
I know. We're gonna get started. I know. I don't want to be the one to use it. Marty never uses it.
Okay,
All right, are we ready to get started?
sure.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order for, what date is it? Tuesday, May 23rd.
Great. Do you want me to call the roll?
Sure.
Okay. Randy Armstrong,
Present.
Marty Lehman's absent, Mr. Marlowe,
Here.
Miss Moore,
Here.
Mayor Williams,
Mayor Williams here.
Miss Stowe,
Here.
and Mr. Wright.
Here.
Okay.
All right, so we'll go to the approval of the minutes for the April 25th meeting. Are there any questions or comments?
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion to approve. Have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So we can move ahead to the selection of the youth representative for the upcoming program year. So we had one.
Yep, only one candidate this year, so it'll be,
gonna be tough.
it'll be far easier than it was the past couple of years.
Makes it easy. Are there any questions, comments, concerns?
If we have one, do we want to like try and get other people to participate, or?
I think they've had opportunity, right?
There's a deadline for them to submit, and so, you know, some various people submitted, and then, I think what they did this year is they had, you know, the number of applicants they had came in, they, you know, kind of, made sure that each board had at least one.
Okay.
You know, and you can see there, they have to select, you know, their first choice, second choice, third choice type thing, so.
And some of them have conflicts
yeah.
as far as what nights they can attend versus what nights we have meetings.
All
We
right.
still need a motion in a second, though.
So moved.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving right along. So we'll move to the staff report for the wall signs approved.
Okay. There were only two this month. Hurricane Cycles, which is taking the place, or Echelon Cycles closed, and this owner bought the shop out, has renamed it. So it's over there in the West End Center on the corner building, or the corner of the building, I should say.
Bart, did you say it is a new owner?
Yes.
Kelly, so Kelly's no longer there. Okay.
He's actually from Crossville.
Okay.
He has a shop in Crossville.
Oh, great. Okay.
He is a mountain biker. He competes,
Oh, wow.
so.
So, this is what they're doing for their wall sign. They also have a tenant panel on the VRB's agenda tonight for that large sign that's out front of West End, but we'll get to that in a minute. Then the other one is River Dog Bakery. And it's going up, right up here in the Farragut Center, up, right up on Kingston Pike from here. And they custom
Oh.
bake dog treats and that sort of thing.
It's what?
Oh, so it really is a dog.
Yeah,
Bakery,
yeah.
okay.
Now, were they aware of that this was going to be a new arcade on the roof there?
Yeah, they are. They're putting this up sort of on a temporary basis. You can see
Okay.
the temporary approval there. For those board members that don't know, the owner of this center is in the process of looking to sort of upgrade the look of the center with some new roofing. So they're looking to do that, and the signs will be transitioning, to probably away from cabinet signs to more channel letter. But for right now, we're permitting this, and the owners and applicants are aware that they'll have to switch out at some point in the future once the upgrades to the center are done. Or if that project falls through at some point in the future, they'll have to upgrade regardless.
What's the timeline of that project, do you know?
They came in at the last staff developer meeting for the planning commission meeting, and they didn't resubmit. We spoke to them. Their initial plan was to simply put a metal roof on instead of the shake shingle. And we talked to them some about, I'm looking about on the possibility of, making that wall more vertical. It'd be easier to put signs on and that sort of thing. So I think they might be back looking at, what their options are to sort of remodel the exterior of that shopping center. So we've not gotten any revised plans or information back in for that project. So I'm not really sure what the timeline would be on it.
What it boils down to is this is an angle. In other words, if you were to look behind this shake, you would see the wood tight at the top and wider at the bottom. What Bart's talking about would be going vertical, which meant you would have to have the same at the top as you would the bottom, which would be more,
It's more in line with the current.
it would be, and it would also make it better for the type of signs.
Yeah,
As far as
and it's really sort of it's a faux roof line. It's really just on the canopy there. The main building's just flat roofed, and that's sort of a, just a mansard style, roof that they put on the canopy feature there years ago. So, it's a little more complicated to rebuild it to where it's more of a vertical line and or wall line. So I'm sure the owner's just looking at the cost difference on doing that. So
If it takes longer, could you let this business leave it, could they reapply to
Yeah.
leave this sign up for longer?
yeah,
Okay.
the thing about this shake roof was back in the day, when all the Fox Den houses had shake roofs, then shake roof was what Farragut was going to be. And of course, over a period of time, everybody grew away from that. But, and as they've re-roofed, the shake roofs have went away. But that was 40 years ago. That's what it was here in town.
there's another tenant or two in that center. They're looking to redo their signs and but they were already in place, and so they're just waiting to to determine what the owner's going to do with the roof line to then move forward with their sign designs. In this case, they want to get open and they want to be able to have a sign up. So, so we went on the temporary basis so they wouldn't kind of be penalized, for what the the owner's looking at doing to the roof.
Okay, that works. Anything else? Questions? All right, moving ahead to the review of the individual tenant panel for the hurricane cycles at 138 West End Avenue.
Okay. So this is the first tenant panel sign on the agenda for tonight, and it's for Hurricane Cycles. As you know, this is sort of a an odd sign. It's an older grandfathered sign. A sign like this wouldn't be permitted in the town, this height and size. Those tenant panels are larger than a lot of ground-based signs in the town now, but it is a tenant panel sign. And we've seen them swapped out as different businesses have come and go in that center. So it is a large tenant panel, but it clearly fits with the others. It's legible, and staff can recommend approval of it.
You know what's strange about that is all of those are on that side of the street,
Yeah,
if you think about it. And there's plenty of others on the other side that,
Oh, yeah.
for some reason, are not on there.
I hadn't thought about that, but you're right.
Be nice if, so, I don't think you said who owns this. Bart, who owns the West End sign?
The larger shopping center.
The larger shopping center?
Yeah,
Where?
the owners of the West End development.
That would be Tommy Van and Sam Mishu.
Yep.
So, okay, who own, like where, Clean Eats, that? Okay,
That's them,
okay,
yeah.
that's- okay.
Yeah, that's all part of West End.
See, that's due for an update.
I guess the person you normally run into is Tommy Van. You don't normally see Sam, but
Yeah.
Sam actually has the house that's right behind the Mexican restaurant there. That old,
Oh,
that's his office, right?
which restaurant? Which one?
Oh, Taco Bell, I'm sorry.
Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, he owns that house there, and that's where he has his restaurant, or his office at. He's also the same guy that owns the Walgreens Center where Water to Wine and
Okay.
Little Bangkok's at.
If I could ask a quick question, just came to mind. I don't know enough about this board, and this may have been discussed before and I missed or I just forgot, so forgive me, but does this board ever, really to my question there, I really was saying it just sort of in passing, but do we ever recommend a sign be? Now, if it's out of compliance, of course, if something has changed, of course we would, but do we ever recommend to say that could use an update? New lettering, new color, new, whatever.
Well, I suppose you could. I've not seen the board do it. I think it would be a little more complicated than this one. They could clean it. They could, if a couple of letters fell off, they could replace them, but they wouldn't be able to really drastically change the look of that because under our sign ordinance,
It'd be,
it
lower.
specifically defines what maintenance of a sign is, but if you're going to redo a sign, this would be a non-conforming sign. So,
right.
yeah.
Just curious.
And this is in the town center area as well, so
It is.
it's, even though it's grandfathered, so to speak, if they ever decide they're going to do something big with it, then it would have to come into compliance.
Yeah. Although I think there's also some history on this sign as well, from, that I'd have to look into, but there might have been, some, I'm still in, legal proceedings with it in the past as well, so,
Oh, from previous owner, yeah.
yeah.
They have this one, and then they have the one across the street from it, too. That smaller one that
Yeah,
has the
that
smaller
smaller one.
businesses
Yeah.
over there.
And that's another one that's probably not compliant with the current standards and.
No,
and-
it's come up before a couple
Yeah.
times, too. Okay. Any other comments, questions? All right, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, motion to approve. and a
Second.
All right, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay.
Moving on to Lee Company at 12522 Kingston Pike.
Okay. This is a tenant panel. It's already been installed. It was put in without a permit, and we had to contact them and tell them they had to make the application and, pay the double fee penalty for putting it up without a permit. It's a fairly simple sign. It's on the westernmost tenant panel. If you remember, the Lee Company took all of the tenant space on the easternmost sign on that property. And now, they're also going to get a smaller, actual tenant panel on the westernmost sign. So, that's what it actually looks like, standing out there in the field right now. Those are the measurements. It's on a black and white photo, but, you know, they provided the dimensions. So, staff can recommend approval of that as well.
Any questions, comments?
Motion to approve.
Okay, do you have a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right.
See if the rest of them follow suit.
Yeah, I was actually surprised to see that tenant panel go in, considering they have the larger sign at the other end, and I would, but I guess there's not a lot of demand from the other tenants for the signs, because those structures have been up for a while.
Yeah.
And there haven't been,
Well, that third building's fixing to go start, I guess
Yeah.
they're starting to break ground
Yeah.
now, so. And it's supposed to be a single tenant,
yeah, I believe so.
so.
All right, so next we have the Myrtle Recovery Center at 109 Peterson Road.
Okay. This is a reface of an existing sign structure that's on Peterson. Originally, there were two businesses in that building, and there were two signs on that structure. It was, I think it was 113 and 109 were the addresses. Now they're just going with just one sign
Combined.
for the corporate offices of this medical facility or this medical provider. It's, as I said, it's an existing structure, so it's really just a reface on the existing structure. I did ask for some changes to clarify that front dimension, that 252 inches to the property line. It's 21 feet, but the perspective there when they drew it, the property line actually stops short of the sidewalk. So that line should really terminate before the sidewalk, and then it's 5 feet to the side property line. You can see the dimensions of the sign there. It fits for the setback. I did also contact the sign company doing the work, and asked them or suggested that they consider getting with the property owner and the applicant to see, or the business owner, to see about moving the address numbers to the top of the monument, and then being able to move the sign face up on the monument, because I think it would give them some better visibility. The sign company hasn't been able to get in touch with the business owner to run that by them. He thinks that they'll probably agree that it's a good idea, but, he hasn't been able to get in touch with them, so he hasn't been able to update the application and the artwork accordingly. So, and also they were going to verify, obviously, there's plenty of shrubs around that sign, but, we were going to ask them to just check, and some of them are kind of overgrown there on the side, so we were also going to check, see whether or not they want to maybe take some out and maybe change a little of the landscaping around the sign. But, subject to those two things, it's compliant the way it is. But I think it might be better if they put the property address at the top of that sign and then move the sign face up higher on the structure. So,
Yeah, that
subject to verifying the illumination on it, which I don't think it's going to be illuminated, and that the landscaping's compliant, and then clarifying that setback information. I just am going to ask them to redraw that to, show it stopping at the property line. Staff can recommend approval, and then if they do want to redesign that, it'll look the same, except it'll be higher on that structure, and the numbers will go on the top.
So you're giving them subject twos?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'd recommend that. It's going to be compliant. It's just a matter, and it's going to look like this. It's just whether or not the 109 is on top of the structure and the sign face moves up on the structure. If you wanted to come back, we can, but it didn't seem necessary to bring it back to another meeting.
But the number and the sign face moving up doesn't need to be a subject to. That's the
Um,
optional
If you want,
piece of it, right?
you know, to put in your motion that that's an option they can pursue, you know, just to make it clear that, you know, that you're fine with that. I can write it up in the minutes that way, that you know, approved it subject to this, and then also gave them the option of
Yeah.
relocating the number and the sign face.
It would definitely be more eye level if it were higher.
Yeah, I mean, it's only gonna go up about 6 inches there. You can see the, you know, the height of those letters, but,
Yeah.
you know, 6 inches is a fair bit from, you know, perspective from the street, and if you've ever driven past there, it is set back, it's in the bushes, so I think it would help a little bit with the visibility.
I think the number even just on top, if you're looking for that business with the number on top would help.
Yeah, because
lot.
the building is hard to see. I mean, it's
Right.
it's
Yeah.
back in there behind a lot of landscaping.
I'm not familiar with that business at all. What do they rehabilitate or recover?
I'm not exactly sure what type of rehabilitation they do. You know, I don't know if it's physical or substance, you know, type abuse thing. I think they have facilities in other counties. You know, this is just truly going to be an office use for that
They've went in and out of
business.
rural hospitals quite often. If you look at that name and remember what happened in Scott County,
Am I looking at Myrtle or Renova?
no, the Renova.
Renova is the parent company and the owner of the building and the property. The Myrtle Rehab is a subsidiary of Renova.
Yeah, Renova was the ones that didn't pay the employees of the hospital, and then finally they shut it down. Tried to open it back up again, and then it's, I think, still closed, but that was that hospital in Scott County, the only one they had. So now they have to fly or drive all the way to Emory Road that's the closest hospital.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve with subject tos. Does it have to be consideration or just subject to elevating the?
Well, what I would do is I would term it as, you know, subject to the things, and then also with the option,
Okay. so
you know,
it
that they
would
can
be
move that
option.
up if they
Okay.
want to.
Two things, the sign itself and the number,
Okay.
street number.
I make a motion that we approve it subject to the option of making the number and the name higher on the sign, so it would be more visible to the eye from the road.
And then the subject twos of the illumination and landscaping verification and the setbacks.
That's right.
Right, okay.
The property line,
Yeah, and
redraw.
Setbacks, yeah. And the
yeah, and
redraw.
really, that's just redrawing everything. I checked the old permit in the paper files, and the monument met all the setbacks. It's just a matter of getting things updated for, you know, for the record now.
All right,
Second.
all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving on to the last one, the Anchor 934, located at 200 Brooklawn Street.
Okay, this is a primary ground sign for the apartment complex being built in the Biddle Farm development. This is what it would look like. There are a few missing items. The sign designer's turned it over to the developer and is waiting to get some information back from them. So there are a couple subject twos on this as well. Again, you know, the sign itself is compliant in terms of the height, the area, you know, the 2-foot base and all of that. I just am looking to get some clarifications on landscaping and setbacks for this as well, and also that the lighting's going to be compliant. Although in talking to the sign company, they may opt not to light it, but, you know, they need to kind of resolve that. But, and they're going to locate it here in front of the, I don't know if I can.
Roundabout?
Yeah, in front of the roundabout, between the clubhouse and the roundabout area, in that blue circle. And then it's located within a sort of a circular area in the sidewalk. I don't know if you can see that well enough, but, so it's there in front of the clubhouse, and, you know, there's no, you know, there's not a driveway access there. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is, you know, whether or not you feel that, you know, there's an address number needed on the top of this. Probably not. There's no street address. We didn't think there was, or I should say there's no street entrance to the development there, so that could be confusing. The property also right now is addressed as 200 Brooklawn, but that may have to be changed because the actual access drives to the property are going to be on the streets that are going to be behind the apartment complex, and are going to run parallel to Brooklawn.
I don't see how that could be a Brooklawn address.
Yeah, well, right now it is, but so that,
No, but-
yeah, that's something we've, you know, already reached out to 911 about, and the Knox County property addressing. So, you know, we thought it would be confusing to put a street address on a sign at this location. So,
Art, did you mention that there's no access from the roundabout right there into this apartment complex?
Pedestrian only.
yeah,
Pedestrian only? Okay.
yeah.
Is it really, I mean, are they going to actually have any landscaping at all around that sign?
They are going to have to put some landscape, I mean,
Well, I know.
you know, first off, we require landscaping, so we require 50 square feet around the base and a minimum of 6 shrubs, or flowering plants. Now, they're working on the larger landscaping plan. It was something that they actually submitted about a year ago, and then they pulled it off. It has not been to this board yet, but I spoke to the designer of the landscape plan, and they're working on revisions to it now and putting it out, you know, to get cost estimates for the entire apartment complex. So for this, you know, for this whole site, pretty much that you see here from the Village Green area there at Anchor throughout, you know, everything there, all the apartment area. So you'll probably be seeing a landscape plan for the entire apartment complex development in the next few months.
Bart, oh,
Speaking of, sorry,
go ahead.
you just mentioned Village Green, I was about to say, is that, what does Village Green mean?
So this
Why would it be called Village Green?
This area right here is just going to be a large green space that's going to be public and, you know, just like a great lawn type area
It's gonna
within
be
the
called
larger
Village-
development.
It's gonna be called Village Green?
Well, no,
It's identification purposes only on the drawing.
Oh, okay. Surely they wouldn't.
I mean,
That won't
you
be
know,
confusing at all.
yeah.
Meet you at
Yeah,
Village
I guess I
Green.
could have called it, you know, Central Lawn or something, but
Green-
I
It's called
was
Green
sincerely,
Village.
I was sincerely curious if that's what somebody, whoever wanted to name it. I
no,
understand
no,
myself.
no. You know, but it's going to be a large green space. It's going to be public, and it's going to, you know, be the area in between,
Okay.
you know, the commercial area, you know, that's over in here, and then extends out to Kingston Pike. Then there'll be this green space that'll be public, and then the apartment complex is all of this.
Yeah. And back to the sign, just one question was on my mind. You mentioned quickly that they may not want to light the sign. Did you mean an illuminated sign, or to put lights in the ground? Or
Well, you know, on their plan, it seems to indicate that it'll be an uplit
okay,
uplit lighting. And for some reason, I'm thinking that when I spoke to the, you know, the sign company about that, they seemed to say something about they might choose not to light it at all. I can't believe that'd be the case,
maybe it's
but,
so lighted through there. You
Well, that
wouldn't need
picture
it.
shows a night view with light shining up from,
yeah, it does, it does.
so I mean, that tells me that it's
Yeah.
Yeah, but that may get revised.
Just based on what you said, though.
Yeah,
Maybe it's a lighted area enough with the overhead streetlights. You don't need it.
Yeah. Although, I mean, they can do an uplit type, lighting scheme like that. They just have to make sure that the fixture is adequately shielded so that it meets our lighting standards.
Okay.
So that's not a problem
No
to do
glare.
it that way. But it is something that I wanted to get verified, and the applicant has sent everything to the, to the developer to get a drawing like this that shows, the actual setbacks and is going to be clearer. Also, they've made some changes from the original site plan, that sidewalk area in front and that circular area within the sidewalk. They want to put the sign in, didn't show up on the original site plan, so, so we asked them to clarify that and just turn in that information. We, scaled it out, it'll meet the setback, the 20-foot minimum setback for the size of sign they want. They could actually be a little closer for the size of sign that they're proposing. And like I said, they're working on landscaping for the entire site, so I would assume they're gonna integrate, the landscaping for this into that larger site landscaping.
Is this going to be the only ground-mounted sign they do for
I
this?
I doubt it. For right now, they're doing this because if you've been past there, they, are making quite a bit of progress on their clubhouse area. I'd say they want to get the sign in sooner rather than later. I wouldn't be surprised if they come back and ask for a sign back here at where their primary entrance is going to be. And then they have a secondary entrance over here. The fact that all of these streets,
Got
Brook,
one here, too.
Brook Lawn, this could be Anchor Way, this could be Biddle Farm Boulevard. I think this is Neptune here, they'll be able to have more than one primary ground sign because they have, they're like a super corner lot. So they'd be able to have more than one ground sign on the site. So they could conceivably put another one back here if they wanted. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they want to do that.
Yeah, I was asking just because of the number, because I would think that we would want the number at the main entrance rather than somewhere that's not even an entrance.
Well, I don't
So
think this is going to end up being the street address.
Yeah, I don't think so
So
either,
nine-
so I would.
Yeah, 934 is that's just what they're naming the apartment complex.
What's it-
Just
do you know what
Anchor
the- do you know what it
934. That
reference-
is not the street.
Is that the number, what is that number representing?
Anchor 934. I'm not 100% sure.
Randy has a guess. Go ahead, Randy.
I've heard it.
Zip code. Zip code, last three numbers of zip code, 37934.
Pretty good guess.
Well, it could be, yeah, 37934.
That's my
Yeah.
Rationale for it. I just don't remember what it is.
Pretty smart, Randy.
That's the number of apartments that are coming in, sir.
Not either. I guarantee you that.
It's what it looks like it could be.
So, yeah, that's simply the name of the apartment complex.
Now, these are really, interior-wise, they're big apartments as far as the square footage.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Do you think maybe they just want that sign there because there's so much activity and
Well,
business
you
with
know,
Kroger's and Aldi and all that, that just, so you'll know what the name is?
yeah, I mean, it's a very prominent location. It's
Yeah.
right there at the circle. It's going to be a pedestrian-focused area over time.
Oh,
And
that
so,
makes sense.
people will be able to see it, they'll walk past. It's going to be right there at the clubhouse.
Imagine they'll start leasing at some point
That's
too,
probably where
so-
they'll lease out of, because you're going to have angle parking all the way down Brooklawn on the east side of the street. So you actually could pull up here and park and then walk over to it if that's where they run their.
Yeah, this is going to be angled parking along Brooklawn and here as well.
And that makes sense.
That's gonna be fun.
It'll slow traffic down.
That's gonna stop traffic for a while. Yeah, that'll be
People
fun.
backing out, that's going to be traffic calming, okay?
Be fun, yeah.
And same as back here,
Instant
because this
traffic
is a
calming.
public street as well, and there'll be angled parking along
Maybe
it.
not calming, but slowing.
Just people come, I mean, they come flying around through there now. You see them up almost on two wheels going around that roundabout.
I don't know that they go around it. It's across, it's across the top of it. Yeah.
That should be interesting.
All right.
Okay, so,
So
I did
the
have some
three subject
yeah.
twos, yeah.
That's
And then, just the agreement. I guess, were there any questions about the number? Were we all in agreement?
We
about-
didn't think, from a staff perspective, we thought it would be confusing to have a street number at that location
I
of the
think so.
sign. So, but I did want to run it by you and just make sure.
So the subject twos were the compliant lighting,
Well, just,
the,
basically verify the lighting details. I mean, they can light it the way they're showing it, but then we'll just need to see like a fixture, like cut sheet for the fixture to make sure it's going to be compliant. And the, the setback numbers put on the drawing, on the actual site plan. And then a compliant landscaping plan. They can either turn in just a landscape plan just for the sign and make sure that information gets to the landscape designer, or work with the landscape designer to get it integrated. I know on the original landscape plan for the entire development, they really just had trees up in that front area. And so, but now they're proposing some sidewalks and stuff in that area too. So I'd say the overall landscape is going to change a little bit anyway in that area.
and you mentioned that would be coming back to us in the next few months.
The overall landscape plan will.
When it does, are we gonna have a note to revisit that sign and the
Um,
landscape around it?
Well, if they turn in the landscaping, for the sign permit, they'll have that, and then we'll just have to make sure that they either show the landscaping that they're coordinated.
Yeah.
On the two plans, or have them put a little inset box in for that area and say, see sign permit.
Okay.
It'd be one or the other.
Because there may be others, so we may have multiple.
Yeah, but, right now, the way we permit signs is, a separate permit for each sign. So if they bring in others, they'll have to bring in a sign permit for any other ground signs they put on place. And if the landscaping plan for the entire site doesn't cover that area, they'll have to turn in a revision just for the sign area.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, we may even end up having arrows in and outs or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure, we've talked to the overall developer of the entire site, and encouraged them to maybe get with, someone to do, like an overall signage concept for the whole development, for the commercial areas, the apartment areas, so that there's sort of, like an integrated look to the whole area. We were told they were doing that, but, we've not, had any contact on that yet. So, I don't know where that stands, but.
When I talk with Bud, I'll ask him, because he owes me a call back
Yeah.
on some other things.
We've got the apartments, they're moving forward with a lot of the commercial development now. The planning commission is gonna be looking at, site elevations for the other buildings. Aldi's already been permitted. Building A, which is up on Kingston Pike, has already been reviewed and approved. But now they're gonna start bringing in, the building elevations for all the other buildings and starting to build those out of shells. And townhouse development that's going in back behind these apartments over in this corner, over in this area, are also, in the planning stages. So we need to get a sense of what they want to do out there.
Are the apartments gonna be open before the shops are opened?
No, I do know that.
Yeah.
They'll probably,
Maybe before all of the shops are
Yeah.
open, but there'll probably be some of the shops will probably be open.
Yeah, people, do you have people that are already wanting to
yes.
own a shop?
Yeah, I mean, if you looked at the front page of the News Sentinel this morning, Tupelo Honey announced that they're gonna be in one of those
that,
spaces.
yeah.
Yep.
Super Chicks will be the building that's right beside the
Do we have any more?
the bank.
Have any more?
No.
So is that Building A?
Do you want to vote on this one? Because I think
Can
Derek
we
has
vote on
to
this
go.
one?
Yeah.
I'm talk- I've got
Okay.
to get to a meeting, to another event.
Yep. All right.
Thank you.
So do we have a motion?
I'll motion with the 3 subject twos, the verifying the lighting, whether they're gonna have it or not, the setback, and the landscaping, whether they're gonna put it in with this or the entire landscape plan.
Okay.
All right.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Anything else?
Okay.
Barb?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, adjourned. See ya.
I'm just curious, do you know what the rental